this guy'd obviously come from work, gone out in a pair of our higher wellies, come back, and somebody had rented out his work boots.
Back in the day, when my dad went over to New Zealand in the 70s, he got on a big boat, took a hold of cattle and combine harvesters over to New Zealand through the Panama Canal.
Was this one of these convict cheap tickets things? No.
Could have been.
I've been Cammy.
I've been Iona.
And we are both
Fed by Farmers. Hello and welcome to the Fed by Farmers podcast with me, Iona Murray. And meant to be Cammy Wilson, but he is too busy today to come and join us for the intro. So this week we are joined by Rebecca and Duncan McEwan from Arnprior Farm near Stirling. It's a really good one actually. They go into how they both got into farming, their backgrounds, and some pretty cool things that they've diversified into as well. Also need to thank Crystalyx and Animax Tracesure for sponsoring the podcast. And let's get into it.
Here we are. We're joined by Rebecca and Duncan McEwan from Arnprior Farm. I was going to say Arnprior Farm Stirling, but it's Arnprior Farm Arnprior.
That's
right.
Does that come under Stirling?
Yeah.
Yeah, Stirling's the
Kippen,
county.
Stirling.
Yeah.
Is it Stirlingshire?
Stirling.
It's always a
Was
shire.
Arnprior a town?
No.
Village.
Village.
Or
Probably a
hamlet.
hamlet's probably, yeah.
Yes, a very, very busy hamlet now, and I'll have done the introduction and I'll set the scene for the pumpkins and how very, very popular you are with not just the farming community, but, you know, out with random people from the town with their white trainers.
Ugg boots.
Ugg
White
boots
trainers.
that love to come to the pumpkin patch. But like we're going to balance this one lovely. You've both got good stories to tell. You both have been about a bit and done a few things. But let's talk about, we'll start from how they met.
Yeah, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah. He's both been farmers from the beginning.
So I'm from southwest Scotland. My family farm is just south of Newton Stewart in a little village called Garliston. So yes, I was born and bred on a farm, and fast forward, was at school, then went to uni in Edinburgh to study media and cultural studies. And you?
As in like how we met.
No, what's
No.
your background?
Oh, right, okay, sorry. So I'm from Arnprior originally.
Ah, there we go.
So I'm,
It's the family farm.
it's I'm the fourth generation.
Okay.
So I went to school locally and then went to Edinburgh for 4 years and bumped into Rebecca one night.
It's actually, so my cousin was studying at the SAC, and you were his flatmate, friends, and we used to always go out with the Agrics. I worked at the Three Sisters
Oh, very
in
popular.
the grass
pub.
market.
Yep,
That
yep.
was my income while I was at uni. And then met, I think it was the Highland show.
That's when we got together.
Uh-huh.
We met in the park bar.
The park bar in the West End, in Finniston? No,
No,
West
no,
End.
in
no,
Edinburgh, it's
no,
the park.
Oh, there's a
yeah.
park bar there. Okay,
Park-
is that the same as
Meadows.
the park bar? Is it like a
It's probably
traditional
not-
music?
Top of Marchman.
Top,
Brunswick.
it's probably
Yeah.
not.
It's not there anymore,
It's not
it's
the
a house.
island. It's not like an island, because it's a lot of the islands, isn't it? Go to Park Bar and it's all
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah,
good-
Highlander, yeah.
Traditional Scottish music.
good music and everything. So no, it's not like that. It's just like a good old. Actually, it was a Festival Inns, part of Three Sisters. So anyway, met there, and then sort of like you were always going out with someone.
As in a female?
A female, yeah. So then when I had left uni, I only did 3 years at uni. You did 4. So for your 4th year, we were together. And met at the Highland show. Well, got together at the Highland show. And then here we are.
Got together at a Highland show, there we go. Like
Many relationships started at Highland show.
It was very
all great
romantic.
love stories. I can imagine that most get-togethers at the Highland show are very romantic.
It actually is quite funny. So I just back from holiday. We were, and my friend was looking for me and she couldn't find me. So she bumped into you and she was like, "Oh, have you seen Rebecca here?" And you still had my number in your phone. And then was able to phone me, and Jill was like, "Oh, I'm here with Duncan." And then literally met in members, and that's us.
There we go.
So luckily you still had my number.
It's amazing how fate brings people together.
Yeah.
19 years ago.
Yeah, 2004.
Okay, so that's the love story. Where did it go from there?
So, so what was that? 2000 and so you did you did your last year at uni,
Yeah.
and then
You worked in television.
yes, I was working in TV, so I did a lot of like runner jobs, and then I was at Arnprior doing Play Pie in a Pint, and I
They
was
still do that.
not so much. Oh, they still do Play Pie in a Pint.
Aye,
yeah.
What is
I
that?
heard it in BBC Scotland.
What is it?
I think you pay your
So-
ticket and you get to watch a play. You
So
get a pint
back
and a pie.
in the day, I don't know how much it is now. I don't- lunchtime.
Better.
So what it was, I was at the art department. So it was, you paid your tenner and you got your pie, which was just like literally like a Scotch pie, your pint, and you watched a play. And it had a fantastic theatre group of people. So there was lots of very good actors and like wee short, like 1 hour plays. So yes, I worked in that. And then you were still in Edinburgh then. And then was it after Arnprior then I worked in Monaco the Glen, and I got lots of sort of various sort of prop buying, art departmenty jobs. And used to meet in Perth, didn't we? Go to the cinema while I was up there. Then you'd go home, make hay. That was, yeah. But then...
Fun times.
fun times.
Yeah, what ages are you?
I'm 41.
Yeah.
I'm 40 now. Sadly.
You're just turned 40.
Yeah,
a
October.
toy boy.
Yeah.
There you go. Aye, some lad. That's exciting.
Although there's a funny story, isn't there? About age later. Another story. Well, didn't a guy not that long ago, was he a sales guy?
So I was at this farming the next generation meeting, and speaking to this guy at lunchtime, and he's like, going about your folk hour age, folk hour generation. Brought it up a few times, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, no. And it got to the stage, I was like, what age do you think I am? And he's like, I think I'd be about 33, 34 at the time. And he's like, mid-40s?
Oh.
So that
Tough.
really, really hurt.
Yeah.
Hurt.
It's just because you're so tall. Like, how tall are you for people? You're obviously sitting down. What are you, about 6'4"?
Yeah.
6'4", yeah, bit of a unit. Definitely, because I'm tall.
What height are you?
6'2", with my shoes on. But we don't worry about that. Small man syndrome, heal the day. But yeah, so okay, that's nice. And obviously, you haven't. Are you still in the broadcasting job?
So no, I think the last programme I did was Willie and Tig, which is, have you seen it? Have the kids seen it? It's
No.
a children's programme. So I worked on that when I think our kids were maybe,
I like young.
young. So, but it just didn't, I kind of wanted to be there at home. And because I'm so involved in the farm, like lambing time or even just like running errands and things like that, it just didn't work having a family, working in TV. So I just decided to not do it anymore. It was really good. Loved it while it lasted, but it just didn't fit in with sort of farming life. And for me now, probably because all the diversifications, there'd be no way I could really do it. So yeah, no more. But it's Sorry.
No, I was going to ask how many children you have.
3.
3 children.
What ages are they?
14, 12 and 8.
Yep.
And are they showing interest in the farm?
Yeah, so we've got... So Erin's 8, so she's our youngest, she's in P4. Flory is S1 and Duncan is S3. So he is, he wasn't one of those wee boys that just wanted to sit in tractors and, he wasn't mad on farming. He enjoyed it and he always did stuff, but it wasn't like, it wasn't his thing always.
No. But it's kind of growing into him though, if you know what I mean.
I think actually stock work he likes. So he's got his first wee flock of Suffolks this year. We've just been lambing them at the moment, and he's actually not at home. He's in New Zealand right now.
Wow.
So
Well, that's an interesting one. Actually, we spoke about the other day. Tell us that story.
So I'll go back to the beginning then. So the whole New Zealand thing started. Well, we both sort of love New Zealand, and back in the day when my dad went over to New Zealand in the 70s, he got on a big boat, took a whole load of cattle and combine harvesters over to New Zealand through the Panama Canal.
Is this one of these convict cheap tickets things? No.
Could have been. Was dating
Well,
my
his cattle.
No. Dating my mum, so he had to come home. But no, so he was in New Zealand for about 6 months, and he was in Hawke's-Bay. And then when I was younger, I had the opportunity to do a school exchange to New Zealand, and because I'd heard all the stories about New Zealand from my dad, I was desperate to go to New Zealand. So yes, I went when I was 14, and then I was over last year with my mum for my 40th, And it kind of got me thinking how maybe I could do this with Duncan or Florrie and Erin if they wanted to. And you'd been over 10 years ago as well, so...
Yeah, I went when I was 30. Okay. I never had, rather stupid looking back now, when I've graduated, just kind of wanted to get home and start farming. And a lot of my peers obviously went away travelling, and I just didn't have any inclination to do it at all. And then turned 30, and you're like, oh, maybe should have done. So I got a 3-week kind of tour. We were at Arnprior Farm at the time. It opened up a lot of contacts over there. So the 3 weeks going from farm to farm, which was fantastic. It was probably a far different experience to what I would have got if I'd gone when I was 21. So we
both were really keen on him trying. So in January he went to Napier Boys High School. So he's over there at the moment, and he comes back on the 19th of April. So Duncan dropped him off in January. And you did another 2 weeks.
My friend and I went out.
Someone had to take him.
I know.
My good
chaperones.
He was like, twist my arm.
Holding his hand up to the school gates. Like, goodbye, son.
I think he literally, I don't think there was, I think he literally like, bye.
Yeah, no, that's a bit went really. It was fine. He just got on with it. There was no he just gonna.
He's obviously brave if he's
he's absolutely loving it as well. He's just between
never coming back.
Yeah, I think.
well, it's funny you say that.
I know every phone call is like, I could stay another term, and I'm like, I know you could, but. You've got S4 to come to, and you've got your exams, and
plus it's $5,000 a term, so
absolutely. You're a bit like, you need to just enjoy it while it lasts. Make friends for who you'll visit in your gap year, and go when you're 18. So
what an amazing experience, though! Like especially at that age, that's young to be.
He's loved it.
I think as well, he's loving the whole Kiwi attitude, the whole. Their get up and go. They've just got a fantastic sort of ethos for life, and the sport and the rugby and the agriculture. So the school he's at has 3 lessons a week in agriculture. So this Friday he's learning how to fence. So not the fencing.
Not the fencing they did at Wellington, Iona. Iona's private school as well. So were you private school?
I was.
I could tell. But did you do fencing at private school? No, just Iona then. No, I'm kidding. On Wellington's like really lowbrow private school.
Well, mine's not. Mine's not.
You'd be hockey as well, were you?
Yeah, and it's such a shame that I thought all schools did hockey, but
just the posh ones.
Yeah.
Hockey get banned at our school because the boys from the rougher, not particularly us, but from the rougher schools, thought it was like ice hockey, so they'd be like slap shotting, as you call it. The thing they'd do a follow through and nearly take somebody's head off, so they just banned it. Yeah, stick to football.
So I was at an all girls school, so it was purely just hockey, netball, tennis.
What school was that?
It's called St Anne's. Well, it's called Windermere now, but it was St Anne's School. What are you laughing at?
No.
Of course, it gets brought up a lot. It'll be awful. That's because.
Yeah, you went to school. Iona gets ripped to shreds. I destroy her every week about
Literally
it.
every week.
And she went to a really scummy one compared to you. I mean, like Windermere.
I know.
Wellington. Do you know what I mean?
All the W's.
Yeah. But even the Wellingtons are just so much more working class. But no, it's good. It gets you a good start in life.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, no, I enjoyed it.
It's great for this podcast because you speak so well. Not that you don't, Duncan, but you're more of the farmer type. Do you know what I mean? But you speak so well and clearly, so it's always good. Like Iona, that's part of the reason it's great having her on, because it cuts through my Ayrshire twang. Although I speak very proper, don't I?
Yeah, no, you do.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And something I want to ask about Duncan, is your dad called Duncan?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those ones.
How far back does it go?
How many Duncans?
I'm the 4th.
You're the 4th, and we Dunk's the 5th. There's a wee christening.
Yeah.
There's a wee christening cup, and it's got like all the Duncans and.
You can't not keep it up when there's a cup.
No.
I don't think.
So he's Duncan McEwan the 5th.
Yeah, so he's Duncan Roger Armstrong McEwan after my dad and my maiden name. I'm an Armstrong, and you're Duncan Robert. He's Duncan David, and then.
Grandpa's Duncan David.
And your dad's Duncan David. Yeah, and then your mum's middle name is Duncan. Who knew?
Just pure randomly.
Just pure
Yeah.
randomly.
That's a family name on the other side, though.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
fate again.
That's a real random middle name to have.
I think it's is it a
Yeah.
a surname?
How many middle names do you have, Rebecca?
Just one.
Oh, is that
Margaret.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's surprising. I thought it was going to be like a three shout. How many have you got?
None. 0.
Oh, we've talked
And
about
my
this.
sisters, my brother all have one.
But we've talked about why that is. I've not to go on about it again, but Iona was a bit of a surprise.
Was
A bit of a surprise. So they were just like, why bother? But she's turned out great. Ish. So yeah, fate brought you together. You've got the 3 kids now, as you've said. The New Zealand thing sounds absolutely class.
It
I think
does.
a lot of
I-
families go into
yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
I mean, you've done a wee bit of New Zealand. Well, I'm the only one that's not been to New Zealand here.
I know. Do you regret not having travelled?
Oh, as I said previously, I'm not one for regrets at all. But my big thing is, it'd have been nice to pick up a shearing hand piece.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Instead of joining the police at 18. Like I often, like when I speak to, but then I've had so many life experiences and other things through the police that they haven't had. But there is, when you start speaking to the shearers, the stories they've got.
Aye.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you know Richie Robinson and they boys used to shear with Doug Steele. Aye, the stories they boys have got from their time out and about. You think that's a life lived as well.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to say, I suppose, once you've finished having kids, you all go and have a
Oh, but we definitely
month
will.
or so.
Definitely. I mean, Lizzie's been like 7 times or something.
Oh,
like,
right,
yeah. I
okay.
mean, she's got a car over there.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, she's got a car and a lockup with a shearing grinder and handpieces and all her
Right.
combs and cutters. Yeah, because she was planning to go back and then COVID happened.
Right, okay.
right.
And she's just never get round to. She always thought I'll go over and get it sold, and then kids happened, and now it's just sitting there. So yeah, that's on the to-do list. But we'll get into the farming side of things.
Yes.
Get ready for a successful turnout and choose Crystalyx this grazing season. Spring grass is typically fast-growing and lush. However, it can contain high levels of potassium, which reduces magnesium availability. Crystalyx Cattle High Mag incorporates multiple magnesium sources and is proven through trials at Glasgow University to help maintain normal blood magnesium levels. With 35% sugar and a unique blend of vitamins, minerals and trace elements, Crystalyx Cattle High Mag supports optimal performance at turnout.
Tell us about the farm. We've got this far in. We don't even know what kind of farm you have. 20 minutes in.
Yeah, so what are we now? 330 hectares.
What's that in old money?
815 acres or something like that. Kind of a range of grounds, a lot of kind of heavy, kind of clay ground in the bottom of the valley, running up to kind of nice loamy stuff, then kind of peaty, kind of not so nice stuff at the top. This year we topped just shy of 1350 ewes, 60 odd cows, we grow about 120 acres of grain. We have the pumpkins. We have about 16 acres of pumpkins last year. What else do we do? I'm
4
trying to think.
glamping pods.
4 glamping pods, swimming pool, glamping experience. Grow a wee bit of, used to grow hay for Joe, selling to Joe.
Horses.
Well, a wee bit to horses, and we B&B cattle for people as well. So, that's
What interests me is that if you have 120 acres in grain, roughly,
yeah.
so you've only about 700 acres in grazing,
Yeah,
and you manage to run 1,300 ewes on it.
yeah.
It's good going.
Yeah, we get round that by...
Supplement it, it bails out at certain bits. Or?
We housed the 1,100 ewes from kind of early January to
Right,
point of
yeah.
lambing.
Okay.
Otherwise, you just couldn't do it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that makes
No.
sense then. Okay,
So
that's
just-
that's a big
yeah.
job then.
Yeah, no, it's actually... I actually find it far easier when they're all housed.
Not
Everyone's
poaching
under
about in the
control.
muck and
Yeah. So...
And you
it's,
quite like to keep an eye on everyone's diet and what they're eating. And
Yeah, no,
Just to
it's
make
it's,
sure.
it's far more controllable. It's not the cheapest way of doing it, but just because we're so wet where we are.
yeah.
Joe was initially we were about kind of 500-600 ewes, and then we went up to 1,000, and then it was that jump. You're like, ooh, the winters were mucky.
You can imagine. Are you on slats?
No, all straw bedded,
Right, okay.
but because we've got the straw on farm already, it's
Yeah.
Okay.
so we don't have to buy in any.
Yeah, yeah. I was talking, and I think I maybe said this in a podcast before, but I was literally talking to someone the day about it. Or someone down south that was saying about how bad it's been. And like, if lamb prices stay anywhere near where they are, there must be merit in putting slats in sheds where you're maybe keeping cows in now and just and put more sheep on and feed them through the winter inside. You know.
Yeah, well, the big benefit, we used to have obviously bother with liver fluke and what have you, and that's just problems just gone away because they're,
they're inside. They're not going to pick it up. They get one dose. They put them in, but you put them in, wait 6 weeks and dose them, and then they're clear. And then one less thing to worry about.
Yeah, no.
Listen, it's absolutely. There's a big appeal to it. Feet. Do you got a lot of bother with feet?
You need to be on top of that. Yeah, that is the one bugbear of it.
Are you foot bathing a lot?
Yeah. And then just every time you're going through, just sorting out any issues.
And then round about the water trough, you have.
We put lime down generally.
I do that in the lambing shed. Or used to anyway. Yeah. But again, even that can only do so much. It's,
no. I think keeping them well bedded is the answer, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah. Just try don't let them get mucky. But then when straw's like £30 a bale, and obviously we're not buying it in, but you can. You
could have sold it.
Yeah.
In your head, it's still £30 a bale.
Yeah. So it's though that's, I don't know how many years we've been housing everything now. There's 200 odd cheviets that run about outside.
And they hate being brought in.
Yeah, one year when they move all the sheep down to the sheds that we lamb in, and so that vacated another shed, and we were really shy of grass at that point for the cheviets. I thought I'll bring them in. It's like an open on all sides shed. You think this is essentially outside.
Yeah.
And within 3 days they were just getting milk fever and going off their.
I've done that exact same thing.
And
really? You think you've got the first couple of days, I thought I'm getting away with this.
Aye.
All of a sudden, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
I was like, get them outside as fast as possible.
Aye.
Yeah.
That was a lesson learned.
Yeah. No, I did the exact same thing.
So what is that? What's
They just get stressed, I think, and then
Is
change
it?
your diet.
It's the diet. I think
Yeah.
that was the
Okay,
biggest factor.
yeah.
I think is they just they didn't take to being inside and eating bales and eating cake.
Yeah,
And
but the interesting thing was the ewes were getting silage outside, so the diet was fairly consistent.
yeah. And they were still going down.
Yeah,
And
aye.
but they used to getting rolls as well, like cake.
I'm trying to think if I was feeding them cake that year.
Because I think that was a big killer of mine, that they weren't used to eating cake. And I couldn't. And you couldn't really get them onto it in the shed. Like it was too late
That's
at that
too
point.
late, yeah.
And
No.
it was a stupid idea. I was like,
Yeah,
get them back out.
Aye, as
You
say,
almost then can't wait for the next year to come so you can start from. We always say that at lambing time, or
right the wrongs.
you're a few days in and you're like, right, next year we're gonna do this. You just are ready for the new canvas.
Well, that's it. I mean, I'm taking a risk this year. We're not. Every year previous, I'd be feeding my multiples, my twins. And I would give the singles a little bite as well, I would think, but I'm just feeding the triplets this year. Mm-hmm. And it's a bit of a gap. I mean, I think the ewes, I put my hand in the ewes back, they're great, but it's just if they're getting that bang on nutrition for this last wee testing bit where the draw is the biggest on them, time will tell. We're not putting them inside this year. Mm-hmm. We're going to lamb everything outside, so that's how I think I can get away with it. If they're going inside, it's like you're saying, that change in diet, I would have to be feeding them, but I'm thinking throw the cake into them after lambing.
Yeah.
And produce milk rather than producing big lambs. I mean, I take it yours are just lambed and straight out the shed.
Yeah, so they're in for 40 hours or something like that. Yeah, generally.
Yeah, so make sure everyone's got milk.
Yeah, so they lamb them in a big pen into an individual pen for 12, 24 hours, depending on how desperate we are for pens.
Yeah, but
and then into a
usually not
communal
more than
pen,
a
then out.
The communal pen's the game changer, because after they've gone from the wee individual pen, you then put them in the communal pen so they can. We always say it's how we explain it in our lambing experience. It's almost like they go from being in a hospital ward to then playgroup to then school. So the playgroupy bits, you can find your mum, but you're not in the open field against elements and stuff like that. So
when we were doing indoor lambing, I think that's not everyone can do it because space is a factor. But we'd always put them in for at least at worst half a day. Mm-hmm. To just get that experience of mixing with other sheep. But then, when we put them out, we try and put them out individually, but they still get bloody mismothered. And
I know.
The other thing I've started doing is actually the field that they're going into is like electric fence off a wee corner. Okay. And then so you're just dropping them in that, so it's maybe an acre or something like that. And then so they can't actually get that far away from each other. And then the next morning, wind the fence up and let them have the run of the place.
And then usually in the afternoon, that's when, like, I'll go out and, so in the morning you've checked them and then you've opened them up to the main field. Yeah. And then in the afternoon, that's when I usually do my into field, my drop-offs.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm doing it into a little area. So then
it's already open, ready to go.
Yes, it's already empty. And then you check it at night before you come in. So it's...
And
it's
if
a
it starts
huge
getting
difference.
poached, you just move it along a bit.
But it's so lightly stocked. It's
Of course, it's
you know,
only
Yeah.
what,
You're only
what,
putting
10
about
sheep,
12,
10,
yeah.
10 acre.
Yeah.
Okay.
2
Aye.
trailer loads.
Give me ideas here. That's quite
Yeah,
good.
that's
I'm thinking my problem I'm working around this year is the marking thing, because it's like a tricky thing when you're lambing outdoors and you're vlogging for YouTube. The whole marking lambs thing, you know, getting it done in 7 days. It's a tricky thing. Do you mark them out the shed?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's great. It's one less bloody
Yeah,
massive
no.
job done.
That's Dad's job. He goes around the individual pens and puts rings in.
And by marking them, I'm talking about castrating the testicles and the tails.
then-
Yeah, because that's my thing. Lambing outdoors is just getting. I was looking at a forum last night, and someone was saying that they do them wet.
Right?
Okay.
And
Why? As in, like, outside?
yes, as
Right.
in a fresh born.
Right, okay.
So as soon as they're born, they'll go up and castrate them. And like, I can see the logic. I can see where they're coming from in it. Is that the lamb's lying about, flopping about anyway. At that point, it's the easiest time to catch it. You could
It's not
argue,
gonna run away.
Yeah,
anyway.
no kidding.
exactly
Taking advantage.
It's you could argue it's there's this argument. The reason we do them under 7 days is that before they grow too big, that it causes additional pain. So you could argue it's least painful.
Yeah.
Um,
You wouldn't want to do that on a bad day, though, would you?
exactly. And my other
Yeah.
problem is you're also knocking them at the point they'd have to get up on their
Yeah.
feet and get
Yeah.
colostrum.
Yeah.
That's what puts me off it. It'd be interesting if anyone's done that or has thoughts on it. To drop us a little
And
message or
also
comment.
just like, what a terrible start to life.
I know, but you could say being born outside in a pissing wet day in Ayrshire.
Can it get worse? Yeah.
Nah, well, you could be further up north. You could be in Stirling. But yeah, no, that's my thing. Is like, do we do it then, or do we actually just be
I
sensible?
would have
And
thought the fact you want to get them stood up to suck colostrum straight
Yeah.
away, you
you're tampering with that and
Yeah.
holding them back. Nah, I agree. I think the bit in me about the colostrum, thinking that is the
That's
most
the-
important thing,
Yeah.
bar nothing. Is the colostrum. So yeah, we'll see. We'll make it work.
Why don't you do one field?
What do you mean?
Just do one field.
Or to try it?
Aye.
Yeah, we could. Or I could just do one set of twins and be like, bugger that was terrible. That would do it. I think we'll actually, do you know what? That's a
a wee
good point.
trial.
Do you know, I can't sit here and say it's a daft idea till I've tried it.
yeah.
So we'll try it. Yeah, okay. There we go. I'll suffer for everyone else. But yeah, so okay, and what we've not said what kind of use it is. What kind of sheep
It's
you got?
predominantly Highlander cross Cheviots.
Right, very modern. Very
Well
modern.
done. Yeah.
The Highlander's quite prolific.
Yes.
What are you scanning at?
What are we now? 190 with the ewes, and the Gimmers were 175. They were back a wee bit, so 186 all in.
But it's nice where you want to be.
Yeah, I would like another. If we're the whole flock, we're scanning 190. I think that'd be about bang on.
Suppose you're indoors and
Yeah.
a bit more intensive.
Yeah.
There was hardly any
um,
yield this year, so that was
Yeah,
quite
we were
good.
just literally just over two. I think it was 2.1% yield or something like
Nice.
that. So happy enough with
Nice. Yeah.
that. But it's yeah. We find if we go much like when we were, like we used to run a lot of, well, not a lot, but like the majority of the flock were meals, and you're quite often in the kind of 200s, and it would just seem to be generally a lot of pet lambs that way.
Yeah.
You're trying to twin away everything you can onto singles and that, but it's
If you don't get
yeah.
it in time, if you don't get
still
a
seem to
single in
generate a lot of pet lambs as well.
It's
mind
more
you.
work. It's more work.
I know.
And
Yeah.
I still, like, I get put off it a bit last year because we were doing a lot of rubbing on, and I think they trick you a bit in the wee pen, and then you put them outside and there's a wee pining lamb. Like, once she gets outside, she just runs with her own lamb.
Yeah.
There's a lot of folk, and I've done it myself before, but there's a lot of folk swear by it, and I think they're probably right, is that you should actually just lift the single off.
and give two
Yeah,
twins.
aye.
And give two.
Yeah.
That's like, we've heard that one before.
Yeah, but a lot of merit in that, because then she doesn't have her own lamb
Yeah.
to favour, and you can pick two evenly balanced, evenly sized lambs. So yeah, merit in that.
I know it's
And we have this.
we have the
debate.
dilemma, and then you're like, oh no, I can't. Oh, and you've got someone else lambing over there, and you're trying to deal with that one, and yeah, when you're in the moment.
Do you ever let the run as a triplet?
This is going to be my first year.
Same with us.
Yeah, we're having.
You could
a-
talk me off it, or no? You're
No,
going to try it as well.
I just think.
Oh, there's too many. See, when I'm splitting, it's that way when you're choosing the ones to go outside. And obviously the triplets have usually been with their mum for an extra day because they're all doing so well. And then you have to pick the one, you're watching them to see who's feeding each side and what one's sharing. And you're picking a really good lamb off her. And I always have that feeling of, it's going to go downhill a wee bit because it's been stuck in the pet lamb. If it doesn't get chosen to be a twin on, it'll probably get a wee bit of orf, a wee sore eye. It's just the way pet lambs are.
And it's the price of, we were up to 160 quid a week feeding pet lambs last year.
And I don't think we've got, this is the one thing that we chat about every year, it's getting it right with the pet lambs.
Oh, we didn't.
Yeah.
Because, again, we're at 160 quid a week feeding them, and I'm like, I need to stop this. So I'm like, right, I think we can stop now. And then within like the first fortnight, there's like 3 dead.
I know.
And then
once you start, you need to keep going.
all of a sudden you see the backbone in them and they're like pining a bit. They're on the creep and all that before they come off. You put them in a bit. Arguably, I've spoke to other people that do it really well. They actually, they're a fair age before they ever put them out to grass. They keep them on that set routine of the milk and the creep and a bit of hay or whatever, and they keep them in that controlled environment to try and keep the job right. But
so we were finding we weren't even putting ours out to grass.
Yeah, the
They were in
theory
the
I think
big,
that's pretty
they were in
common.
the big
Just
run of
keep
the
them in the run of the
polytunnel.
shed.
theory being that they'll be away pretty quick. But yeah.
But no, we're going to try, triplets.
Dad's uncle used to. I'm not advocating this, by the way.
No,
I'm just
no.
telling what you did.
Aye. You know a guy that used to do this? Yeah.
He used to just feed once they got to a certain stage, just feed the milk powder straight, like non-mixed in a trough. And
Right.
apparently his pet lambs were fantastic.
Really?
Yeah. I've never tried it.
No,
so
interesting.
Yeah.
Price of milk powder was cheaper back then, though. That's the only thing I would say.
That's true. Yeah.
Like,
And also
imagine I'm
like-
spilling a trough full of milk powder over.
Oh, is it 2,000 and is it £2,200 a tonne this year or something like that?
Jesus.
And then you tried different ones, didn't you? It's like
We tried a different one last year because I'd heard it was really good.
was it Irish? Or
Yeah,
something?
it didn't seem to mix very well in the machine.
Aye, okay. Are you on a
Volac.
Volac? Yeah. And they're just a game changer if you're going to have a lot of pets.
Yeah.
Game changer, but I think what we need to do this year is get them on it. So they're usually on a shepherdess for the first week until you've got time.
I know it's coming.
Yeah, until you've got time to plug it in. And I think I'm like, if there was a fallout at lambing, it's usually like, Duncan, can we get a space for the Volac, for the milk feeder tonight? We'll do it tonight. And then the next day comes. I'm like, I've got 20
Darling.
pet lambs now. And the thing is, if you were in charge of the pet lambs, it would be done.
I know.
It's
Yeah.
really- Anyway, so this year we've already kind of got, the bit looked out, and from day one, the Volac machine is going in. So there's no
Straight
thing
onto
about
it.
with the
Yeah.
shepherdess,
Yeah.
really. But
No, they're great machines, obviously a bit of expense. But no, we're going to try, I don't know what your plan is, but I'm going to try the triplets. We're lambing them outside, which is another thing. But anyway, try the triplets, creep feeder in from the beginning. Yeah, just creep them like mad.
Should you maybe say what that is for people?
Yeah, so a creep feeders, it's like just a clever little design. You basically have a hop in the middle and you fill it full, and it's a narrow gap at the bottom. And as the sheep eats the little bit at the bottom, more sort of creeps through is the idea of it. And they just always have something to eat, but it keeps it kind of dry and out the conditions. It's part of it. Maybe stop some guts in it a bit
And
too.
there's spars that stop to stop the ewes coming in and eating. It's just
Oh, of course, yes. Yeah, only the lambs can get it because it's by the head size, or some are walk-through ones that are narrow as well. So yeah, we're thinking creep from the beginning, and I'll probably cake the ewes as long as I possibly can. Just keep caking the ewes and just try and make it all work. A mule ewes, they big mule ewes can run
our
triplets.
ewes milk well, and that's why we're kind of starting to think, let's give it. We haven't done it for years.
what, the triplet thing?
Yeah.
Another factor is the price of lambs. Lambs are so good, you can afford to creep them and cake them longer and make a job.
Do you know what the price of lamb is in New Zealand right now?
I think it's about £60 a head or something crazy.
yeah.
It's mad. We had a New Zealander in here a fortnight ago for a podcast. He was over scanning, and it's shocking.
It's
Yeah.
not.
It's shocking, and that's why I say when folk, we talk about this on the podcast a bit as well, but folk going mad about New Zealand lamb in the supermarket. But I say to them, it's like, well, we'll tell you what, you take £60 a head for your lamb, and you can be in the supermarket too. It's like, or we stick with what we're doing, and we'll make Scottish lamb too good for the supermarket. Do you know what I mean? That's the flip it. Don't think that the supermarkets are doing this. Think about the fact that actually we're a bloody premium product and we're too good for the supermarket.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Go to your butcher if you want a Scottish lamb.
You also there'll be a lot of sheep farmers probably shouting at the whatever device they're watching. You actually kind of almost need the Kiwi supply coming in to keep enough lamb, because we're not self-sufficient in lamb, or in certain cuts.
It's certain cuts. It's the legs, isn't it? And and apparently that's the thing they love about New Zealand lamb, is because the lambs are all the same.
Yeah.
So
got
every leg of
consistency.
lamb's the exact same
Okay.
because they're all the same breed. They're all it's
Yeah.
all Romneys or whatever they're working with there. They're 10,000 lambs come in exactly the same. Whereas you go to United Auctions, it's 10,000
Big
lambs
and
sold.
nice.
Exactly, the variety's massive. So they seem to like that with New Zealand lamb as well. But yeah,
But we were out there in New Zealand. Spoke to a chap. We're actually at Wairi Romney's for an afternoon.
oh yeah.
And
They have them here, don't they? They have a base here of them.
yeah.
I'm sure I saw them at Scotch Sheep or
I'm
North Sheep.
trying to remember is there not a chap down south who's got them?
Oh, it's definitely down
Yeah,
south,
yeah.
but I'm not sure who it is. Yeah.
New Zealand have lost 4,000 ewes a day since their peak in the 1980s.
A day.
A day. I think there was about 80 odd million. They're down to 24 million.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but they're only selling something like, is it 12% less lamb or something like that?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
How's that?
Because the lambs were so much smaller that they were selling.
Oh,
They're
right,
a lot
okay.
more productive than they were. It was all
Yeah,
about
they've changed
wool
the sheep.
before.
Of course.
Yeah,
Of course. And
Yeah.
now it's all about lambs and meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. But to be fair, everywhere's the same. Sheep numbers,
Yeah,
you know.
but we've got more sheep than New Zealand now. I think the UK's got 31 million.
Is that
And they're
right?
24 million.
But Scotland will still be slightly behind them then. It'll be pretty
Oh
close.
no, I'm talking about
The whole UK.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Aye.
But that's to be fair, we have 60 million folk. We had Kate Rowe from QMS
Yeah.
in last week. Again, she'll be out by the time this podcast goes out, and she was talking about how was it 6 times as much meat they eat 6 times as much lamb they eat in England compared to us. But again, it comes back to the large Muslim population.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they are great for us. We always give them a shout out. Shout out to you guys. Love you. Good. Ramadan's finished by now, but hope it was a good one. So, on that note, let's hear from our sponsor.
Most foragers don't supply sheep and cattle with enough cobalt, copper, iodine and selenium, critical to digestion, immunity, reproduction and growth. When it comes to supplementation, there's a danger of under or oversupply. But when bolusing with Animax Tracesure, you can be sure every animal has enough for up to 6 months in one single application. Animax, giving what it takes.
Yep, so we're just back and we're going to talk about pumpkins. But before we started recording, Duncan and I did that kind of farmer thing where it's like, how's things? And then we went on to a whole 20-minute chat that I'm like, actually, this would be good for the podcast. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start with this thing about dead lambs, or do you want to start about your lick buckets?
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. So
I want to do both.
yeah. Right. We'll start.
You just want to get that.
Start at the beginning as to why I started
clever.
looking into this. But I'm looking at my caveat in this is I think we found the answer.
Okay.
Yeah. So last year at lambing time, the general consensus amongst the family was it had been a good lambing. But then when it came to going through the lambs, the first handling, you're like, this seems to be like. I mean, we're not talking. It wasn't awful. It was just
Your numbers weren't where you thought they
weren't
would
as
be.
good as I thought it was going to be, and you're like looking at all like ewes in good condition, didn't seem to have a lot of losses. You're like
Milk was good.
milk was good, and but the lambs they just never kind of they just weren't firing, if you know what I mean. And we're getting we're getting way more losses outside at grass than we ever would have normally.
But you were seeing
we
that so
weren't getting the
much.
losses in the shed. We hardly losing anything. And you know what? When you're driving around, you're coming across the occasional lamb that's
Half eaten. and-
yeah, aye. And you're probably not adding it up in any way. You're just kind of putting
Put it in
it
a
down to
bag.
bad experience.
Yep.
So anyway, did the first handling, got like a tally up of how many lambs we had, and you're like, flipping out, that's a bit like lower than we were hoping for. So started digging into it, and do you know what I mean? I was completely flummoxed as to why like everything had seemed to have gone to plan.
So much so you kept thinking, is there like a field?
I
that
kept
we've not-
thinking there must be a field, but the ewes were there. But just the lambs.
Is that bad?
Yeah. And so anyway, we're at our local monitor farm meeting at the Duncans, and Lorna Shaw from the SEC was speaking at it, and she did a whole kind of mineral audit for the Duncans, and we've done stuff like that in the past, and we actually got a bespoke bucket made up for the ewes based on our grass analysis and silage analysis. Where we do like a full mineral test on it.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been using this bucket the last 2 or 3 years, and a couple of weeks ago, Lorna phoned me up. She just said asking a few more questions about this bucket I was feeding them, and she was like, the iodine levels seem to be really high, and I was like, to my mind, I'd tick that box off. We'd done everything that you should do, got everything tested. It wasn't like I was
you
just
trust the process.
Yeah.
And yes, I think that they were getting more like what the cattle would be getting, dose of iodine. And so iodine has too much iodine affects the lamb's ability to absorb the antibodies out of the colostrum. And we should probably explain why we were getting the losses later on.
Yeah.
Because
they never get the immune system.
Yeah. So that's
a big change this year.
Yeah.
You get rid of them, and
yeah.
what are they getting now?
So I spoke to. I'm allowed to mention the brand, or is that?
Yeah. Wait, worried because it's not Crystalyx?
It's not Crystalyx, I'm afraid. No.
Sorry, I'll cut it anyway.
I spoke to Lorna Shaw and asking her what mineral brands she would recommend. But do you know Jordan Hibbard?
Aye, Norvite.
Aye.
Yeah,
Jordan's a customer when I was working for Innovus, so I knew he worked for Norvite. And she recommended that they, I think there was a couple of our clients that had.
Well, they do a lot of custom stuff.
Yeah,
don't they?
this is just an off-the-shelf mineral, and
Right.
it balanced out as to what we were needing.
A liquor, a feed supplement.
Bag
Powdered?
mineral, yeah.
Aye,
So
powdered mineral,
I just
yeah,
mixed it in. So we home mix all our own feeding.
Yep.
I just mixed that in with it.
And then they've got feeders.
Yes, we use Advantage 3-in-1 feeders in the shed.
Yes, and they've changed their name now as well, and they dropped us an email and I haven't got back to them, which is terrible. They've changed their name to, is it just Advantage feeders now? They've dropped the 3-in-1
They
thing.
dropped the 3-in-1, right?
Yeah, they sent us an email and I haven't got back to them. But yeah.
Yeah, so that's how
Great guys.
They give the concentrates to the guys.
Does it work?
Yes, but you need to be paying attention to it.
Why don't you just feed them at a trough? Or feed barriers? Have you not got that kind of setup? Is it just big straw sheds?
Basically.
Okay,
way the shed-
okay.
And
So it works well for that then,
Yeah.
because you don't need 1,100 ewes feed space.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay, yeah. Well, they're great for that sense then.
Yeah, and but the shed is quiet, and there's never any rush
Yeah, no bashing.
twice a day.
Yeah.
It's
I can.
It's just you just need to get into the routine. Keep making sure they're not getting gummed up.
Yep.
Essentially.
Yeah. So that was your mineral woes. You've got that nailed now.
Yeah, well, hopefully.
Thanks to Jordan. He'll answer to that. And the other thing you're telling me about with your losses this year. Tell me about this little thing.
Yeah, so because I was I didn't actually know exactly where the losses were occurring. It's like there's our system, because we've got vet students. There's effectively 2 or 3 shifts of folk throughout the day and night. So it's not like you are there personally. So for the outside, I do all the achievements by myself, so I know exactly the story with everybody
Who's
in there.
nicking what lamb?
Yeah, aye. And
Cheviets.
but
good old
the indoor
Cheviets.
ones, because there's almost too many people within the system. Then we're busy doing the lambing experience thing, and things go on. And I was trying to think of a way we could record any losses as they actually start gathering the data as to where the losses were happening. And I thought, well, you just write it in a book. And it's like, well, you're gonna, trying to get certain senior members of the family to, take the time to fill in a book of what happened to said lamb. So it needs to be something you can literally just hit a button and it'll record it. So I found this, it's like a tally counter effectively, but it's a bank. It's in a bank of 10, and I've labelled each one of the tallies with a cause or a reason. So one's like dead ewes, and then one could be lambs lost to dead, say it was a triplet.
Yeah, okay.
Like how it died, and then you click the button 3 times, and another one could be aborted or
Laid on a lamb,
laid
is that
on,
one?
or like
Yeah.
and then
I think there's
I've got
9, isn't there? 9 options.
10
10.
10.
options, yeah.
And it's just what...
It's a bit.
I take it you just write on a wee bit of card and put that in front of the counter?
Yeah, and then I'm going
I
to
think that's interesting.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, but then just to keep team morale high, I'm going to get a bit of electrical tape and put it over the numbers so you can't actually see you.
Oh,
Yeah.
good idea.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
So then it's going to be mounted at a bit where any losses are bagged. And then so when you're putting it in the bag, you go click your option as to
What a
the
great
reason was.
idea.
God, I think that's actually brilliant.
Yeah,
And then
that is.
I'm trying to think if I could implement that.
Then
I'm actually thinking one way to do it, if you're lambing outdoors, is just keep it in the bike.
Yeah, just have it
Yeah.
tied. Absolutely.
Just keep the buggy and it's inside, just have it in the dash, just boom.
Because that is
Just
the one
keep-
thing as well for morale is looking at that number. You don't
Yeah,
want
well,
to be
that's
seeing
the
that
other thing I
number.
don't like about the book.
Yeah, you
The old page
How many
turner.
pages?
you know?
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
It's worse for the guy. He's like, God, I'm the only one writing this. There's nobody else getting a dead lamb. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah, but it's just to try and exactly like pinpoint where because essentially what we're trying to do is
Be perfect.
What was that?
Get it perfect.
Yeah, just nobody, you're never gonna have the perfect lambing, but you can every year get a wee bit better.
Yep.
And if you can, and I dare say 1 year it's gonna be X is the problem, and the next year it's gonna be Y.
It's like you
and
just said with iodine.
yeah.
It's like you're being progressive, you're getting better, then
Yeah.
boom, you're back a year. And it's like something you thought you were doing right is
Yeah,
wrong.
that's the bit that annoys me about that is because I had that box ticked, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
You thought you'd
Yeah.
went over the top and done it perfectly.
Yeah.
Aye.
Anyway, it's you live and learn.
Every year there's a new little thing. Like, was it 2 years ago was the mister for getting rid of watery mouth? Or
Oh yes,
things like
we don't use antibiotics in the shed anymore. We mist the shed every morning with a product from Pruex. So the chap, what's his name again? Alid Davies, I think his name is. He did a Nuffield scholarship on reducing antibiotic usage in agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was when he was in Canada. He came across this soil-based bacteria, and basically the idea is so if you disinfect the lambing shed and then put sheep into it, you've basically got a blank canvas for whatever bacteria populates that space first.
Mm-hmm.
So the minute you've got like sheep dunging and urinating and what have you, there's obviously E. coli in that feces and what have you, and then that it just spreads. It's kind of unchallenged. And the idea behind this is that you're misting the shed every day and you're putting good bacteria into the atmosphere, and that's having like combating the bad. So it's not like all good. It's more of a natural balance. It also it seems to combat like ammonia, and it actually dries up the bedding as well. So the bedding actually lasts longer.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the daft thing is like after like see when you used to muck out the lambing shed, it used to always like used to stink.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the shed actually it's not. It doesn't. It's still
It's still dung.
Yeah,
but
it's
but
still sheepy,
it just
but-
doesn't have that horrible,
mustiness.
yeah. And then we've hardly had a case of watery mouth
Yeah,
since
no.
she was moving on to that.
That's
What
great.
was the name of it?
Pruex. So
Pruex.
yeah,
Pruex.
yeah.
Okay, I think that's another one that will get folk looking,
Yeah,
because
no.
it's something we're always trying to battle is bloody watery mouth and the problems you get.
No.
Joint ill,
Yeah.
another factor.
Oh, joint ill's a horrible one.
Yeah.
But no, so we're not having. This will be our 4th year not using any oral or injectable antibiotics like prophylactically.
Yeah.
with the
In fairness, I
lab.
think most people now are out of it because
Yeah,
you can't get
aye.
Spectam. That's the problem. So
Yeah.
folk are using different kickstart dosing things and trying big. I think it's really brought folk forward with powder and pens, and a lot of people I believe now are mucking out the pens every day. I don't know if you do that. The individual pens.
we
never did it either, but
No.
I know some people do. It's
we
like
try and so we lime the pens and then put a good layer of straw and almost try and bed away from it, because we also found that if you went down onto the hard concrete, it takes a hell of a straw to get that back into a kind of, it's like when you muck out a shed.
yeah,
You're the first.
Yeah.
Actually, the bacteria's there at the bottom because
Aye,
it's been festering. That's a good way to look at it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. There's probably 2 schools of thought in that one, to be honest.
Yes,
Yeah.
start nice and clean and powder it down completely, and it's a
Yeah.
nice blank. You've got rid of all the germs, or put it on top of the germs.
Yeah.
Or just don't lamb inside. That could be the other thing.
My chain of thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so should we talk about some pumpkins?
Yes, please.
Okay. What do you want to know about pumpkins?
Yeah, I want to know, how did it start, the diversification?
So
Yeah.
how did it all start? Yeah, so I think because like where our farm is in our house, it's in the right bang in the middle of a very busy road. It's not as if it's up a farm road. It's in a village, the farm. And we were just always looking for, well, we'd done the monitor farm.
we were in our final year of the monitor
So that
farm
was
thing.
2015.
2015.
2012 to 2015. And obviously you'd increased your sheep numbers, got rid of our cattle. And
We've got cattle again. That's another story.
Okay.
and,
Good in the rotation, isn't it?
and so basically just looking how I can, so obviously I had stopped working in TV, how I could have a job at home. And you were just looking, farming forum? Do you ever,
Yeah, I can.
is that still a thing? Farming
Yeah.
forum?
Yeah, it's very popular.
Is it still? Yeah.
It's actually
Yeah.
quite a good class of people on it.
Yeah.
Oh, is it on Facebook or is it
No,
like
it's
an
like
app?
no, that's a good
It's like
thing.
an
You actually have to
old-style
put an effort in to log
chat.
into the website.
Oh, okay, right.
So John Andrew, who was in last week for a podcast, he's a big commenter on
Is
it. Yeah, and I get sent screenshots and stuff now and again whenever they talk about the sheep game.
Oh,
Or
really?
Fed by Farmers podcast that was on it recently. But yeah, aye. So you'd say, is that fair to say it's quite a good quality?
I kind of.
But you know what Facebook, you ever looked at British Farming Forum on Facebook?
Aye.
It's like,
Riot.
absolutely. Like, it's just like all these folk, like just anybody that can type on a phone,
Yeah.
it's really like unbelievable.
So I never bothered with the diversification, or I never used to anyway. And I must have been bored one evening.
And here we are, like pumpkins, full.
Like I remember being in Edinburgh college, and you were selecting what modules you wanted to do. And I remember giving there was a couple of guys from the I'm sure the Glasgow guys. They were selected the diversification module, and we gave them an absolute slagging for it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's amazing
How progressive they were.
Yeah.
They saw the future.
Yeah. No.
So what is the pool? Is that for people like the public to use?
We talk so
Well, I
much.
finished the story about the pumpkins first. How it all
Before
started.
we do the pool,
Yeah.
I better I do pumpkins before the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the
Pumpkins.
pool's a great story too. Yeah, so sorry,
Aye,
pumpkins.
so
Farming
okay.
forum.
Doing the farming forum, came across this pick your own pumpkin thing, and
And this was back in 2015 before there was any. I think there was one person doing pumpkins as part of their farm shop.
Yeah,
In-
maybe a couple. I think we were about the first to do it as a
Actual farm experience.
yeah. And we saw this thing, and I went through to the kitchen and kind of half jokingly said to Bex, "So what about growing pumpkins?" And so we started looking into how you actually grow pumpkins, and it was actually I've got some friends, Old Lecky, so Ferguson, Alison Younger, they had some friends in the West Coast that had a bit of ground that they grew some pumpkins on, and were selling them alongside.
Daffodils.
Yeah, I think that-
and
yeah.
Their farm.
Yeah, so we got a bit of advice from them how to do it. So we got an old Massey ridge plough, like for drilling up for like neeps or ties, dropped the middle ridger out, ridged up 0.1 of an acre, and then raked the bed flat. And Rebecca had brought on the seeds in the greenhouse.
All 300. I remember thinking, oh my God, like 300 seeds, this is mental, you know.
Yeah.
It's, and it's just funny how you think
How you've grown.
it was then. So we brought them on in the greenhouse and then
Transplanted
them and I was pregnant at the time with Erin when we transplanted them. So
Yeah.
that was in the May. I was due in June. So we were just like down, digging them all with our wee spade. And and it was like, are they going to grow? Because
Yeah.
obviously you're reading all these amazing blogs in America about pumpkins and the climate, and there's no rain and it's all sunshine and heat. And we weren't getting sunshine, heat, lots of rain, weeds galore. And that's before we really knew how to do
we're just
totally trying.
Totally winging it.
And we
Oh,
still
aye.
are. Do you know the thing? The thing is, this is our 10th anniversary. This is our 10th year doing it, and I think we still are. Like, we're on the phone to the seed boy a few days ago, and seed guy. And
I was going to say, I'm sure I love you here.
Seed boy. Seed boy, they're not growing again.
Our fantastic.
It's Jordan the mineral boy. Wasn't that mineral boy?
And you know, we're still trialing. Every year we try and, you know, a few different new seeds just to find out what is right for Sterling. We had one year which we cut out the most popular. What's the most popular variety in England is
Hates
absolutely not for Arnprior.
Really?
So that was a lesson. You know, it's like all these years. But so in year one, it literally was the field next to our house. I set up a wee Facebook page and just sort of was like, come and pick some pumpkins, and I drew some signs. And that's when, like, that's what I love about, you know, the pumpkins. Dunk's very much the growing and understands the soil and how it all works, whereas I don't. And I do all this sort of artwork, and that's
We're
where
very
I bring
well
my old
balanced.
And marketing though.
and that's where I bring my old
Yeah.
job into.
Like marketing and all that, like you're a genius at that.
Well, I try. I don't know. It's just keeping it current, isn't it? It's trying to add something new on every year, and with the whole marketing thing, it's you don't want to be like an annoying person advertising your thing all the time, but it's just to try and keep it new and fresh. And yeah, so we did that first year, and we only opened up car parking for 10 spaces. Car parking for 10 cars to park.
Okay.
But to give you an idea how kind of blasé we were,
And you had to
the
walk
morning-
through our garden to get to the fields, and
the digger was still in the car park the morning of the
First go.
first. I think we opened at 10.
Yeah.
First car arrived at 10:10. Dad rolled out of the car park at 10:05, and then by 10:30,
you're moving sheep
I
out
had
of
to
the
chase
field.
sheep out the neighbouring field so we could park cars in the field.
No way, really?
And then we pretty much
Sold out
sold
that
out.
weekend.
aye.
And we had no extras. There was a few bales to climb on, a little photo opportunity. There was no burgers. It was just like, that's the field of
Come and get your pumpkins and go.
And then year two, it was the same, except we had a burger from our local village Kippen. I think we had them still walking through our garden.
And we did for the first 3 years.
And kids were playing in our stream and stuff, weren't they? I still remember looking at the stream at the bottom of our garden. It was like Kelvin Grove, you know, folk were just like,
Yeah.
this isn't...
They own the place for the day.
I know. With and they weren't, and then we realised that people didn't know how to dress because, I don't know, 10 years ago, there wasn't all the farm experiences. So that's when you started up a welly hire. So we bought a whole load of wellies from McCaskey's, and we're just like hiring out wellies to all the Converse. And
That'd be a disaster, was it not? They'd all take them home.
they were, no, I don't. And actually they start leaving their own wellies now. So we're finding that we're gaining wellies every year because folk don't want to take their dirty wellies home.
Into the car. Oh, okay. Do you still do the belly hire?
Yeah, well, we were
Yeah.
actually
I was just
discussing
talking about that
today, we
earlier on,
might, because people are now getting...
It's not used as anything like what it used to be.
Because most people are
Yeah,
savvy.
no.
You
That's
say that,
it,
but when I
that's
was
it,
there this
everybody-
year, like the amount of folk, I joked at the start, but the amount of folk with bloody like fancy trainers on.
Yeah.
Like
It's
the
the men in the
Yeezys,
fancy trainers.
they love
Yeah.
those Yeezys. Aye, it's guys I'm thinking
It's
of. Like,
guys.
aye, turn up
Well-
with the trackies and the.
But because they're going for like the Instagram photo, aren't they? Like,
Yeah.
Honestly, it's
And
the-
a lot of them wear ankle socks.
Uh-huh.
why wouldn't you wear ankles?
And you need to wear Canada Goose.
Canada Goose and you've got to watch your upset your main client. They'll not be watching this, it'll be fine. But yeah,
Do you know what? Sorry, this is very random. Just talking about Canada Goose. Do you know Andrew Lloyd Webber came to Dumfries House once and he was wearing a white Canada Goose jacket?
Right?
Right.
And he
White?
was on the farm, yeah.
White.
White.
Do you know who wears Canada Goose? Just now I've got it. Oh man, his name Grand Designs. Kevin McLeod.
Does
Kevin
he?
McLeod was Canada Goose.
Does he? That's surprising.
Well, it's surprising because it's such a big TV role and it's such a distinctive brand. It's that
he
big
wears it on
logo
the
there.
show?
Aye, he loves
He
his big
can't-
furry. Everybody loves Grand Designs, don't you? Like Grand Designs, aye.
It's Channel 4, so it won't be BBC, so you'll not be allowed
Exactly.
to-
So
Yeah.
it's
Maybe it's product
Product
placement. Maybe.
potentially good
But
endorsement.
the thing is, it's nice and warm Canada Goose. Probably what we should be wearing on the patch, but instead of a bit of Stony Creek. But
Got a
Anyway.
funny story about the
these the
welly
girls at
hire.
is these the girls at the pressure washer?
No, that was another.
All funny stories.
So anyway, this guy had obviously come from work, went to the welly hire, put his work boots into the welly hire, gone out in a pair of our hire wellies, come back, and somebody had rented out his work boots.
I forgot that.
That's class. So somebody's wondering about that. Somebody just had to go up and say sorry.
Yeah.
You know what happened? So it just reminded me of this time. We were shopping with my sister and we were in Zara, and she tried on this jacket in Zara, and it was actually just a woman's jacket. But it should have hung up while she was trying on the jacket.
Well, that's a belter, right? Oh, Canada Goose and Zara.
No, I can't do it.
And then there was another guy. He'd put his. I still picture in my mind. They were kind of navy blue Nike Air Maxes. He'd put his pair in, and somebody else had put their pair in, and the person with the worst pair had come back first.
Oh,
The exact same size, except they didn't have a rip at the toe. And the guy had, and honestly, we end up having to buy that.
Give him a shoe voucher, didn't we? Like, you know.
You do shoe vouchers as well?
As in, like.
No, we don't. We're not giving anybody any
No,
idea.
Shoe the shop.
Shoe the
Okay.
shop.
To replace them.
Because that's the worst, the hard thing, and that's probably, we've got one more story about shoes, but I'll quickly tell about emails. The worst thing is, so you're coming in, you've had like a full day at Pumpkins, and you're shattered, and then that's when the emails, you get one of the emails, and so many of them are lovely. You get so many great emails, and people want to share their photos with you, and then you have that one like, where's my shoes? Photos of people saying, I've had a great day, or great day at your Pumpkins, but we're so disappointed because our shoes were taken. It's all the words they use to describe that how disappointed they are if something doesn't go right, or their child is so sad that they slipped in the mud and, they've got dirty, leggings on. It's funny, but...
Yeah, I think a lot of people, sometimes people think there's like a whole like IT
admin team.
in the background.
Yeah.
It's like,
Hello.
it's us.
It's the two folks who are running about daft all day.
And
moving
what sort of
pumpkins.
numbers of visitors are you getting?
What are we now? Like 30 to 40,000 people a year, roughly.
That's mental.
So our 10 car parking space, but every year it's just grown slowly, and I think
We haven't actually.
we've actually been at the same for the last year 4.
Yeah, we haven't got
They're
any
probably
bigger.
capacity.
Do you know what, it's that way.
It loses-
You get any bigger, it just creates other problems. And where we are at the moment, it just we're at a number.
You've got to
that-
look after the village as well.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
big
We're just
thing.
going to end up annoying our neighbours, and you need to keep. We need to. They're your neighbours. You need to get on with them for the rest of the
And
year.
I think
so.
as well, we want to keep the personality of what it is, because you see so many events, and it started off maybe husband and wife and family team, and then it becomes a wee bit bigger and a wee bit bigger, and then it becomes too corporate. And I do like the fact that we're still the face, and our kids now, Florrie, our middle one, she was on cash desk, and wee Dunks throwing pumpkins, and Erin was making loom bands to sell. Do you know? And then like your mum, she takes over the pods when I'm at Pumpkins, and your dad's
Quad pod.
he's actually like the number one fan. Everyone loves Grandpa Duncan because he's the quad pod rider. So it's a wee quad bike with like
barrel kind of
barrels.
trailers.
Yeah,
behind
it's
it.
class. We've got some shots. Anyone watching the YouTube will put some shots in of from the whole. We've got loads of shots to show actually from the actual pumpkin experience, but we'll show that as well because obviously the kids love that kind of about.
No, it was good fun. But quickly going back to shoes, the girls' feet, they wore stilettos to the patch. Sorry,
so-
you could have so many
yeah.
stories
No, I
about
love it. We love stories.
So these two
And
girls, they were from Knightswood in Glasgow, and they came up. I'm always working in the car park, and I kind of keep things going. But they came out. They had open-toed, high-heeled boots on, and
like stiletto boots.
yeah,
Strappy.
Oh,
yeah. And I was like, you do know it's it's muddy. I was like, oh, that'll be fine. And they tottered away over the road into the patch. I never saw them again until they came back later on. Honestly, I don't know how many times they must have fallen. There was
Mud between their
there was
toes.
muck squirting out between their toes, and then, so I had a hose, and I was trying to help her. Obviously, she's trying to stand in high heels, but take on one foot, if you know what I mean.
And
Oh,
they
of
had-
course, and balance. Yeah.
So
And
I
that
was
muck-
holding the
yeah.
hose, trying to wash it out. Honestly, I think I was actually washing the muck further down into her sole rather than. It was and And they were just something they absolutely loved it. Not me washing their feet. No,
Much extra that.
no, but you know, they just love being out.
Yeah,
and I think that's the thing as farmers that we don't understand. Like we do, like it's part of our job is out in the muck
It's our lifestyle
all day
job.
long, right, for the winter, for the summer, whatever. But for the majority of the people that come to the farm, be it for the lambing experience or the pumpkin patch, quite often we're the first farmers they've ever spoken to, or this is the first farm they've ever been on in their lives.
Yeah.
And it was actually
and having that connection going back to getting dirty and like because if you live in
Still childhood memories almost, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
'cause
Yeah.
they've not been proper mucky since they were a kid.
You even
And
take like the lambing experience thing. It's like, I love lambing time, and every lamb I always think it's amazing. But if you imagine seeing that for the first time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you speak to a lot of farmers, and it's like you have people in the lambing shed. They can't get. Why would anybody
want to do that.
want to go and see that? But it's honestly the
And it was actually the pumpkins that fueled the lambing experience, because when we were doing the pumpkins, so many people were enjoying being on a real farm. And actually, not only did we do pumpkins, but we did pulling turnips, digging for potatoes. And I think even school children would come on school visits and see that a turnip has a root. And oh my God, there's this big stalk and it comes from the ground. And
that's
then
just like the book.
The book,
Yeah.
And then digging for tatties and seeing all the soil, it's like digging for treasure. So they were just like, we had a teacher in tears because our kids were so like excited about seeing food and like everything that they see in a supermarket wrapped in plastic. So I think from seeing the excitement of people being on a real farm, that's when we thought, right, we'll do the lambing experience and see how it goes. And and here,
And it's went well.
this is ninth year.
You're obviously good at dealing with the public, but I mean, there must be a few things that are really bad about the pumpkins. Like what things are either have happened or the real downsides, apart from the amount of folk and how your life's on hold for that whole time. But there must have been a couple. I know. Out with the shoes debacle, there must have been some real disasters.
The pumpkins
Big
are the one
disaster.
thing on the farm that I will lose sleep over, and I generally mean in September. Like we have like it's like pumpkin related nightmares in the run up to September.
Was it 2018? Was that the worst?
2018 was we'd lost literally half the crop within about a week before we opened. They just got rot and just started imploding.
And it was like the first little black spot starts in it, and you know that's not going to stop. It's just going to grow and grow and grow. And you were just so there was like 4 of us going up and down the rows. There was a Merlot with the big bucket behind us. And you were just like chucking in,
trying to stop the rot spreading.
No,
and also just you can't have
for folk to see. You mean sorry, yeah.
And then the worst thing is, so it's bad enough that, and then you're left with. So we always grow more pumpkins than we sell. So for example, this year it looked as if we had not sold hardly any pumpkins. So we have 4 fields to rotate. So we have our pumpkin patch where the public pick from. And then we have 3 other fields throughout the farm that we replenish from.
The public patch.
And the one that's on the edge of Arnprior that when you're leaving Arnprior towards Glasgow, it's like a full pumpkin field still, wasn't it, in November? Because it was such a good crop. Every plant produced 2 pumpkins, and
it's probably the best crop of pumpkins we've grown.
And also we had So we had like surplus pumpkins, but the great thing is we've got sheep then that go onto the patch and they eat away.
They'll love it.
But this year, so in 2018, we'd only been doing it 4 years, so we were still. I don't think we'd grown maybe enough to allow further to be rot.
We'd never had that issue before. The first 3 years we'd sailed through and had no problems
and
at all.
And also
really.
we couldn't get that variety, could we, from the first few years?
Yeah, no, it was a different.
It was just a code. You know, it's funny, you have about 60, 70 different pumpkin names. They're all brilliant names like Knucklehead and Goosebumps and Racer and things like that. But this one was just a code, and we've never been able to get that variety again. But anyway, yes, it was. You lost your sight in 1 year. In 1 year? One eye.
Yeah.
But through the pumpkins?
No. I'd
just over like half a day. It was like a migraine, and then your sight just went.
Oh, just the stress of it?
Yeah, no, it was like half of my left eye. I was actually unloading a lorry, and that was like the first time we'd had to buy pumpkins in a beforehand we were it was like you were
everything's
you
going on
got-
farm.
Yeah, or you were getting a wee bit. We did the first couple of years. You go into like Costco,
Tesco,
and,
sorry,
yeah,
Costco,
and
yeah.
at the time we were open to like what we were doing.
We're honest.
Just 'cause it was like we didn't expect the demand, and then as we upped and upped, and when I think in
But it just
2018
doesn't sit right with you, that,
we thought
like,
we'd grown enough, and then obviously the rock came in, so I actually ended up we've actually got some pumpkin farming friends down south, the people that we've got to know through growing them, and we'd bought an Arctic load off one guy, and I know an Arctic load sounds like a lot of pumpkins. They're
big
actually
hollow,
really bulky.
yeah.
And so in the picture, the pumpkins looked like they were a decent size, and when they arrived, they were like no bigger than the size of my fist. A lot of them.
Okay.
So so this was in the back of having to clear all our good pumpkins. I mean, that crop we'd had, they were fantastic up until the point they weren't. And so I'm unloading this lorry with the tatty boxes.
They've
of
just
pumpkins.
arrived and you feel sick because you've seen them.
Was it meant to be that
I was
size?
literally digging down into the boxes trying
This
to find the
can't be
bigger
it.
ones.
Aye, yeah.
And I honestly, it was the weirdest thing. It was like it was diagonal across my left eye. That's the top side just went black, and I was like, so I just shut that eye and kept unloading
Kept looking for a bigger pumpkin.
No, I just knew I needed to get this lorry unloaded and get on with it, and it came back like within 10 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, where you're
it's
like,
scary.
how
Is this an
stressed
aneurysm
you need to
happening?
be for your
For literally your sight.
and that is the bit that it's you've opened up this event, and like it's in our nature you want people to come and enjoy it and go away having a really good experience, and when you've got that, we're going to let a lot of folk down here.
Yeah.
It's like I imagine the people that were doing the
the
Willy
Wonka.
Wonka thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
know.
like
That was hilarious.
that was nearly us, if you know what I mean. Because
Do you know the ridiculous thing is? Like, if they relaunched that, they'd make a fortune.
Yeah. And isn't it
Do you know what I mean? If they,
Yeah.
if they relaunched that as it was, they'd make a
Because
fortune.
everyone would want to see
Yeah,
the
What if they
you're
wants to
disaster
go and put it on their
was.
Instagram?
I
Like
know.
that unknown
Yeah.
thing that was behind the mirror with the like, what the hell was that?
It's so weird.
I
Wasn't it?
think,
The waves are greeting. The footage is so good. Like,
and then isn't the
Yeah.
Oompa Loompa, she's making a career now out of going to events and opening up.
the unknown, the girl who played the unknown. Bear in mind that you don't see her; she's just wearing a mask. She's got a gig for the summer down at London Dungeons.
Oh, right.
I know to go down there. Yeah,
No.
great story. Like,
Oh.
aye.
But no, that yeah.
I think as well, you
that's-
take everything, like, the thing is, again, when you have the emails come in and folk tell you that they were so disappointed that their pumpkin went rotten, and you take it personally,
Oh, yeah.
you're
Yeah.
just like, it's...
You failed.
Yeah, so that's the worst thing as well. So not only for, for example, 2018, when everything was going rotten and you were left with 50% of your crop, that 50%, the fear was when it gets home and like...
Yeah.
Well, if it
Wee
was good
Andrew
enough to
goes
carve
and carves
Oh,
his
yeah.
pumpkin, and then
It's like if you buying anything at a supermarket, you look at it and it looks good in the day.
so actually it was so. Rewind a few years before that, I think our biggest problem was before we ticketed, so that was also a problem, and
of
we used to
course.
just let people come when they wanted to pumpkins,
Okay.
and we like the idea of it being fluid that way, that you could just come and enjoy and then leave. And then as we got a little bit bigger, there was obviously a wet Saturday that hardly
It was
anyone came
It was the third Saturday
in October.
in 2017.
And then it was a sunny
So-
Sunday.
It was a Sunday actually.
And then, everybody from Glasgow came. And we were on the side of the road, and every car that came, I was like, hi there. Oh, I'm so sorry. Our pumpkin patch is actually full at the moment. If you wouldn't mind going to the farm shop, having a coffee, then come back in an hour's time.
Oh my
and,
god!
And it was like mum and
they're all
dad
raging.
and 2 kids in the back, and everyone's like, this is ridiculous. And getting
Oh,
all cross.
And then
No.
it was taking people an hour
To get through the
the
village.
people that weren't coming to the patch, it was taking them an hour to get from one side of Arnprior to the other.
It's
Awful.
And
awful.
we were
Yeah, neighbours
it
are
was
going mental
mental,
about it. Yeah.
and
far. I did,
the,
yeah. And
the
There must be a few
Please.
neighbours don't speak to you because of it.
I don't know. We try and
Do you win them back? Do you send
No.
Rebecca around to charm them?
no. I'll try and get on with folk.
I think we
it's,
tried, so now we ticketed.
If folk
Yeah.
know you're
It's-
genuinely trying,
Yeah,
just
I
try
think
to do
that's the
business.
thing.
We were just caught out. It's
Yeah,
just,
you're learning.
No.
And actually
well, the police got involved.
Oh,
And then
They told us if we did that again,
That's it.
they would prosecute us.
Yeah.
And but again, it
For
was just
what would you get done?
I think public nuisance.
Okay.
It's almost like you do an event that takes up the road space like that, and you haven't got like a council.
Because we have to have an
Permit,
entertainment
basically.
license, don't we? From
Yeah, but
Stirling.
there were people like parking on the A811,
This is a main
like
tourist.
turning the carriageway to a carriageway and a half, and
Yeah.
all the side roads around us had cars up them.
It was
and
like Tea in the
blocked.
Park, almost
It was
in.
t- it
Yeah,
was-
remember when they moved it and it was carnage?
At Strathallan, yeah.
It was
So-
awful. It was awful.
That is.
So you'd gone from having lovely glossy pictures in the Herald and everything was jolly to Stirling Observer
Scandal.
pictures
Yeah.
of how horrific all these like cars parked. So that's when actually Lisa, who is now our PR, Palumbo PR, she came and she gave me an Instagram message to say, hi, do you think it's, it'd be great to have a chat, let's see what we can do. And actually, yeah, she's our PR now. So we contract her for a few weeks a year just to anything
Keep
from
you right
good
and-
press if we
yep.
get something that we need to deal with. And to be fair, there's not much we
No.
need negative for, but
No.
it's
Yeah.
just to have that safety net.
Yeah.
Found that the best way of dealing with if anything goes wrong or people are disappointed, the best thing to do is not
Just say, I just work here, mate, nothing to do with me.
no,
Speak to the lady with the blonde hair.
no. I actually phoned them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I just have.
Yeah.
No, and
Just
I'd
as
just
a-
be
But did
just
folk will shit themselves and you actually, like human contact, like actually speaking
no,
to
And
me?
it's
like,
not-
they actually respond really, really well.
Yeah.
because you're
No wonder
genuinely.
you're 6
Yeah.
foot 4.
I mean, you can't tell that with the phone.
Mate, what's that you're saying? You got a problem with pumpkins? Right, more up, come back up. No, come on, come up. You're fine now, are you? Good. Sorry, there you go.
But no, honestly, I think it just shows that you
care.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they'll spread the word that, they're really decent. The owner actually phoned me personally, took time out of his day to actually phone me.
Yeah.
But we found that's the best way of just getting ahead of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But you do feel at times you're just kind of like holding on. There's almost like
Just try and survive.
yeah.
Because it's absolutely it's crazy. But, I mean, it must turn a good pound. I mean, is this your biggest selling? Must be the biggest selling thing on the farm.
I think everything.
It's the
The infrastructure costs us a lot for the
Yeah.
pumpkins. Everything from the staff. The staff's our biggest, so we have about 30 staff a day working.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are 16-year-olds, so we like to support. So, for
We're very
example,
lucky.
A
that
cheaper
you're-
hourly rate, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So our local high school, it's a great, a great first job for them. So that's been good.
Yeah.
And then
A heart of gold. I'm joking.
something for their CV.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. No, so that's been good. And then this year we had some fantastic Kiwis, which were great. And so staff's our biggest. It's actually quite scary. And
30 staff's huge,
Yeah.
because we need everyone it's because we replenish. We have about 6 trailer loads you have a day.
Yes, we do everything with UTV, like buggies and you've
You
got
saw
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
right?
We'll be cutting footage in here as we speak.
All right,
Yeah. So that's a lot. And then everything from like toilets to it just all adds up.
Yeah.
But we always do say it's a big part of our business now. It all just supports,
Yeah.
everyone
each
could-
other.
so that I suppose the way it works is that the pumpkins got us going with diversification, and then you started doing the lambing experience thing, and then you go, well, right, okay, there's obviously an interest here of so that the next obvious thing to do was to have people come in to stay. So the glamping site came up. The swimming pool was actually Rebecca's mum's idea. Because we've got a biomass boiler on the farm, so it burns wood chip and heats water, and we heat our house, mum and dad's house, and 2 neighbours. But we also use that to dry grain, and we used to grow about 200 acres of grain. And then since we dropped back the acreage, there's obviously surplus heat.
Excess heat.
Yeah, and that's what now heats the pool.
So you're basically getting paid to heat the pool?
At the moment, yeah.
Class.
That is so
Class.
good.
Yeah, great setup.
But then the price of wood chips skyrocketed, so it's
Yeah,
It's, like a lot of
So
these things
luck- I think-
it looks fantastic from the outside, but it's amazing the cost of running it.
I think as well.
like the
Well,
pool
what
costs
happens
and-
is, like you say, 40,000 people come. they look at the ticket price and go, oh, they're making 100,000 out of this, or 150,000 out of this. You know, that's how they straight away jump to that. They don't think about the 30 staff a day, the extra bike shift they run.
Even
growing the bloody pumpkins.
Actually, an interesting thing, which is a big expense, is so the weed control. So our biggest problem with growing pumpkins has been the weeds, and we've tried everything from. So we don't direct sow the seeds; they're brought on in a polytunnel, and then we transplant the plants. And we found that you can't do a stale seed bed because we're too wet.
We're too wet, and there's too much dung. So you've got a constant seed bank getting put down.
So the weed control that we use is
we use a membrane.
Yeah, but the plastic, it was just. I think that's probably one of the reasons that the pumpkins weren't doing well. So there's a membrane, and even the membrane is scarily expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, just all those things are expensive.
Yeah.
So that's our biggest growing. Would you say that's probably the biggest growing expense?
It's the big individual growing cost is the
membrane.
How many pumpkins are you growing now?
So we're, last year was 15.5 acres. So I would love
You're
to say...
You're working tonnage or something, do you? Or how
no,
do you work
this is the thing.
How many did you sell? Ask them that.
But
how many did you sell?
we don't actually...
Or how many seeds did you sow?
What would be 30,000 or something like that?
We put 25, and then out of that, usually we allow 10% loss in each stage. But this year, there was hardly any loss.
We had the best germination, the transplantation went really well. It literally, everything lined up.
And then each plant had about two, probably about some of them had, not each plant, but a lot of the plants had 2 fruits. If you were to drive through Arnprior today, you would see all the warty goblins still there.
Sheep don't like them.
They're all crisp. And because the frost are so hard skinned, the frost doesn't attack it. So if you're
and just for people wondering, the warty goblin is the really ugly pumpkin you grow because people love that because it's ugly. Yeah.
And actually, probably
lambs don't like the taste.
But you can't actually eat them, can you?
Yeah, you can.
Apparently, they're kind of nutty tasting.
Yeah, you can like pierce it and then stick it in the oven like a baked potato, as long as you've pierced it so it doesn't explode. But but people are coming away from the actual carving of pumpkins to more the doorstep displays. So
what's the doorstep display?
So you have like your doorstep for people that live probably in.
You need to get into this.
Yeah, no. What's this?
So it's like if you have your front door and you just put all your pumpkins in your like autumn wreath and you make it look all nice and fancy.
Oh, instead of putting a candle in it and
so instead of carving it, so
you
they
just
actually
sit pumpkins about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of the American idea. So
yeah. No, it's interesting. And our subconscious here, we're way going on here. Ashley will be raging. She's got to edit all this. But it's good. We've touched on the pumpkins there. Obviously, folk will be fascinated by how that's went. And we've kind of touched on the fact you have the pool as well when you do the kids' lessons, and you've got pods. But just to touch a bit more on the lambing experience days, how much do you charge for them? What's the format?
Are we 15 this year?
I think 15. Yeah.
15.
For how long?
1 hour.
1 hour.
Right. Okay.
So
per adult or just per head?
Per head.
Right, okay.
And you've got to be school age kids, so
5 plus.
And up,
5 plus, and no pregnant women. And so how it works is you welcome them in the car park, and then we walk up to the farm and we first introduce them to. We use a language that people everybody will understand. So we call where all the sheep are, like the maternity ward. So it's where we house all the ones that are split up into singles, twins and triplets. And we give them a little bit of a background story about the sheep and the importance of all the...
Kind of talk them through the year.
Yeah.
So go back to the back of the, from top
how we got to this stage.
Right through.
Yeah. And then the way the shed is laid out, it then leads on to the individual pens. And then we give them a little lowdown of what happens in the individual pens and how important it is for the colostrum and make sure the lamb stands, and then castrating and marking. And then we go to the communal. And while all this is going on, we've got our vet students. So we've got 3 from the Ghent University in Belgium. They've been fantastic, haven't they?
Yeah.
The Belgium students. And then we've got a couple of school kids that are wanting to apply to vet school. So we have quite a few people in the shed. And then while I'm doing some talking, you usually start the whole bit about tupping, husbandry, and then I go on to the...
Because you're also trying...
Look and see who's lambing.
Do the
job
lambing
as well.
And then spot if there's any water bags out.
Yeah.
And then if there is a water bag out, you'll try and hurry her along rather than...
So you get to see the whole
Because
thing.
you just feel, see, as soon as a sheep has lambed on the lambing experience, you're like, tick, done.
Yeah.
We did some this year, and a lot less sheep, but thankfully everyone we did had a sheep lamb.
Right.
Oh, that's great.
But you're right. It's like once that was done, I was like, doesn't matter what happens.
I
now.
know, absolutely. No, you feel, completely.
Yeah, and you could hang that out for half an hour as well. You know, the process that, here she is, got a lamb, come on over. Yeah. Then you bring one out, and you know what I mean? You could drag that out for half an hour.
And then you do the whole...
and actually, that's what they're there for.
Totally.
Well, that and the lambs.
Yeah.
Well,
Pet
this
lambs.
is the thing. And so then you disappear, and I'm left to do the pet lamb holding bit. And honestly, do you know that way? It's trying to choose pet lambs that haven't got a go. Because we've got like our wee pet lamb thing.
Skitter, all the other problems.
And it's usually probably the skitter bit, and you're just wanting everyone to. So we have them. They all wear gloves and wee aprons, and we've got bales that they sit down on. So you get them to sit down, and then even like things that we take for granted of how to hold a lamb, they're like, knowing how to hold a lamb, and then if the lamb tries to get away, the kid gets scared. So it's just trying to get it to be the sort of most chilled out last 10 minutes. But that's what they come for, is to hold the pet lamb. We don't do any of the feeding though, because if you've got like a 2-day-old lamb, 3-day-old lamb, it doesn't, someone doesn't, unless you know how to feed a lamb. Joe Public wouldn't know how to.
No, that's the problem. You have to them at that right spot where they just run into the bottle, but then it's also you can't feed them every session as well. So it's like, you better just not doing it.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. It's a nightmare.
It's the lambing series things are like quite like in the days gone by, like the night before it, you're like, why on earth are we doing this? Because you're busy, and then you're opening up the doors and inviting the public in. But it's actually, it's actually really quite enjoyable. See, once you get into it,
Yeah.
But you enjoy. Remember, you've had a few sort of vegetarians or vegans you've spoken
Yeah,
to,
there
and
was
that's been.
was it the second or third year? I think it would be. There's it's that way you're trying to work out what the situation is with people. You're assuming that's a couple, or that's that's obviously their kids or what have you. And so there was a woman with her kids and her husband, and then she had her friend was with her, and the lady was asking kind of pointed questions. Are probably the best way. They weren't like she wasn't. It wasn't like needly, but just there was an angle to everything.
Okay.
And I think it's the only way you can do it. You just have to be honest and tell. You don't
sugarcoated.
Well, you don't try and you don't lie. Basically, that's the best way. You just because essentially there's everything we do. There's a reason why we do it. And I was explaining all the different points, and she was asking another question, and it was great because I actually love it when they do it. The best groups are the ones when you get
so many questions.
The questions get fired at you, and then you're answering. If you're sitting in front of them monologuing, it just So I could they just kept coming one after the other, and I was again nothing that was alarming or that I was saying. But so the way the yard's set up, as we crossed from one side to the other, I managed to kind of like shed her off from the group and spoke to her like one to one. And we got challenged. So she was here with our friends, family, and she was a vegan, and she just wanted to see what it was like. And I was like, I had no judgment from me. It's like you choose whatever you want to eat, whatever. It is what it is. And I was like, so what do you think? And she said, I can't actually believe the care that goes into these sheep. This is nothing what I thought it'd be like. And then I was like, well, we're not doing anything special here. This is just how farmers look after sheep at lambing time. And that's
your motto for the whole lamb experience.
But that's when I do the meet and greet at the start now, I always do emphasize that point that is the case. You are just seeing a snapshot of our day. And this is just, if you go to any other lambing shed up and down the country right now, you'll be seeing pretty much the exact same practice going on. And it's with this isn't a
show off.
It's not a show farm.
This is just how it's done, or
how you do it. But it's pretty standard. You're not putting on airs and graces.
And so that you get stuff like that, and don't get me wrong, it's very much a business thing for us doing the lambing experience thing, but I do think, any farm that's opened their doors up and showing people, the general public, what they're doing, all power to you, because it's
definitely.
It's a huge educational thing for the general
It's great,
public.
but you need to be brave as well to do it. Yeah,
Yeah, I think you just have to have your I's dotted and T's crossed with it, from a
But it's the same with like I remember. I don't know enough about RET, but I know a little bit about RET, and I think what they do is fantastic. And I'm doing a talk to the farmer thing on Friday, but I'm not too sure how many. I think there still is quite a lot of visits to farms, isn't there, with RET?
Yeah, they organise a lot of visits.
So, and I think it's just it's getting kids, and I think it's great when we do get, primary school kids to the lambing experience and seeing things, and you do see a lot of repeat people coming back, and it's the same as what, schools are doing, getting kids out to farms. I just think it's so important, and I think, I think it's good fun, but
hard work.
You're tired after speaking. We've actually cut down. So we used to do, was it 3
8 a day?
Aye.
But now
That was just so 8 hours speaking to people constantly.
You should do 8 a day.
Yeah.
It's 7. 3
No.
3 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon.
Sorry, and we're doing 6 now. Yeah. So it's 3
Still
and 3.
6 sessions a day.
That's just the weekends.
Oh, right.
And then during the week we do 2 sessions.
Okay.
Because it
Because we need
Too much.
And how many people are you taking a session?
30.
Just to do my math. 30 folk? Good effort. I need to get into this. So 30 folk, my quick maths at like 450 quid a session.
Yeah,
and
and
you've
then
VAT to come off.
It's 15 including VAT,
Yeah.
of course,
Including
because
VAT.
the public don't, so you have to
And
include the
then-
VAT. So it's hardly worth it. Then,
so what we found is that it's actually you feel that you can probably feel that we can justify a lamb, like a vet student, not a vet student.
It pays for a lot of the costs associated with lambing
Nights.
inside.
So we've got someone that does nights.
Yeah.
I know, absolutely it does. But I'm always in this podcast. I'm always like, so what's the problem with making money? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to stand. Well, I did it, so I don't mind. But most people don't want to stand and speak to the public and put themselves, on a pedestal for everybody to criticise and look at,
Or lose their sight through stress.
risk their life for pumpkins.
But then at least I know now where it's like an alarm bell.
Yeah, once the sight goes, stop.
Yeah, whoa, you need to slacken off.
To be fair, I think most of us
I would say
would use that as a fair measure,
A
of
reference point.
Yeah, aye. Once the sight goes, ease off a little bit.
You just shut one eye and keep going.
Keep going. Aye. No, listen, I think it's incredible. If folk were wanting to find you or wanting to come in, the lamb experience will be fully booked now, is it?
Yeah.
Is it booked in second in
It
minutes?
booked in 12 hours.
12 hours.
This year, yeah.
How many sessions?
I
I won't do the maths on it.
No.
I'll let everyone else do that.
So we've got 2 weekends. So we've got 10 weekday. So we've got 20 weekday sessions and 28 weekend sessions.
So 48 sessions gone just in 12 hours.
of 30 people.
Yeah, great effort.
Yeah.
If you go,
I bet you could sell it twice over. Well, obviously 12 hours, you could sell it 10
Just
times over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I need to get my sheep out to the field. That's the thing, isn't it?
I know.
It's funny though, because as much as
Plus, you enjoy. Sorry, but for me, I found with the experiences is I really enjoy lambing time,
Yeah.
See, I love lemon time.
and it just took a little bit of the fun of my day away.
Because you weren't getting stuck in it lambing. You were having to
Yeah,
be
because because you had to be on point and do your bit. And
Who did you have?
part of my problem was a lot of people came to see me as well, so it's like I absolutely had to be there and with them the whole time and do the thing.
So that's why it's easy for me because nobody comes to see me.
Yeah, you just do your intro. And yeah. They're like, "Stop talking, guy. Let me see the sheep." Yeah, I enjoyed the challenge of it. But like, I just love my routine. I love lambing time because like nobody asks you to be anywhere or do anything. If they phone, it's great. Can you just say, "I'm sorry, I'm busy lambing"?
Yeah.
I just love getting in that bubble. And that's what I found with it. It kind of, I
you
have to be
doing-
there for 1 o'clock. Like this is stressful because we're dealing with this problem outside, but it's like I have to be there for this because these people have paid. And it's like, I didn't enjoy that side of it.
It's definitely like we couldn't do it if it wasn't for having the
Plenty of folk.
vet-
Vet students, yeah. So as I say, we've got three Belgian boys first week, and then they go home, and then we've got another 3 Belgian boys, and then and then the thing is we've got Stephen who works for us full time, so he takes care of the calving.
Yeah.
Came from Orkney, yeah. So he is in charge of all the cows and field work, so he'll do a lot.
And he's
And
floats
lambing
in
as
it,
well.
yeah.
I know, but he does.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Stephen and I at lambing time, and we don't really have. There's a, like you're saying about the routine. It's like you just we kind of float and do whatever's needed done. And that's one thing I do like about when the outdoor ones start, because that's like
it's your thing.
Yeah.
And the experiences are finished by then.
And I need to be there at a certain time and go to do my checks.
Oh, same. I love. I like that.
Aye,
it's like right, it's daylight at this time, so we're up and out at this time.
No,
It's good.
it's,
so if people want to find you, where are they going to
So-
find you? Don't worry about lambing experiences; it's fully booked. Never mind, folks. This will about towards the end of lambing anyway. So I think that's how far behind we are with this.
So we've got our Instagram, which is Arnprior Farm. We've got our Facebook page, which is Arnprior Farm, but we've also got a separate pumpkin page because you feel people might want to know about pumpkins, but not about
The farm.
glamping pods. So so Arnprior Pumpkins is the pumpkin Facebook page, and just Arnprior Farm is the pods and lambing experience and stuff.
then your TikTok.
Can I take TikTok off my phone though? Because I don't need to be
Yeah, you convince yourself you use it for business, to end up watching absolute nonsense on
watching
it.
reels about how to make things in air fryers.
Yeah.
Stuff. So,
I've not quite got into those ones yet, but I watch. To be fair, it's more and more farming stuff now. It used to just be people doing daft dances, but it's more and more farming
Yeah.
stuff now. But so okay, right, they can find you those.
and then our website, which is www.arnpriorfarm.com.
And the pumpkin bookings are not out yet.
So pumpkin bookings are in August.
August.
I have had my first email asking when they're going on sale.
Yeah, I've had a few emails about asking if we're doing lambing experiences again, but I'm like, outside this year, so I'm not doing it. I'll just spend my soul YouTubing. Okay, look, guys, it's been absolutely fantastic. Thanks to both of you for coming in. You've given me, you make me think I should be doing lambing experiences again.
Where's the
I
diversification?
know. I start doing all the maths. This is my diversification.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like when you get a bed for £450 an hour, tell you. Less of that. No, listen, guys, absolutely fantastic. Thanks for coming in, and all the best
you.
for lambing and beyond.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
And I'm back, still by myself. I hope you enjoyed that one as much as I did, hearing from Rebecca and Duncan. It was so interesting to hear how they've diversified, how the pumpkin patch has grown so much in such a short space of time. But I'm going to keep this short because I'm incredibly uncomfortable. So thank you again to Crystalyx and Animax Tracesure, and we'll see you next week for the next one.